All right, thank you guys very much for joining us. Up first, we've got offensive coordinator Tony Elliott. Go ahead with questions whenever you're ready.
Hey, Tony, Lawton Swan. Give us some insight into that final drive. I know you're aided by a couple of penalties by FSU, but more specifically, Will Shipley's run and what you were seeing late in the game.
Late in the game, so we started that series with a move the pocket situation. I think in the second half, we had some guys go down up front. Trotter went down. Putnam was in and out. So we had some younger guys in there, had a little bit of issue with some protection stuff. So, some of our drop back stuff didn't feel quite as good. So we moved the pocket there to try and get out. So we got that first PI, and then we came back and had a quick game concept. DJ did a good job of pulling it down and running. We got another penalty there, and then with Shipley, biggest thing there is just trying to create a little bit of misdirection. You saw it was a divide play with the tight end, working back across. See, could we flat foot those linebackers and create a crease before the safety got there? And you just saw Will Shipley and what we all know about him, but it was good for everybody else to be able to see he's got the heart of a champion. He's been banged up. He came back off of injury, probably a week before anybody anticipated. Man, he keeps battling himself. And then Phil was nicked up a little bit, so we didn't have much of a rotation there late in the half. So the biggest thing was just trying to, create a little bit of movement up front and see could Shipley find a running lane, and he was able to pop it, and then he did the rest on his own.
Hey, Tony, this is Anna with Clemson 24/7. How much of an issue, I guess, I know it was an issue, but I guess a myriad of issues for the tackles for loss tonight. I think Florida State had about 11.
Say it again now, tackles for loss. Yeah, so we started the game there. It was a tough situation. Didn't quite get the leverage on the bubble. Then we had a couple of sacks and some TFLs, in the passing game. So, they're very disruptive. They're very, very athletic. That's the area where we've been pretty good in terms of giving up tackles for loss, but obviously didn't do as good tonight. Then we had some breakdowns in protection, and then I thought in the quarterback run game we didn't quite get as much, as I was hoping. But the running backs were able to be effective in the run game to counter those losses that we had.
Tony, I'm sorry if you've already talked about this, but just with the quarterback situation, was there any talk of playing Tyson in here? What was kind of the game plan coming into the game there?
The game plan was, DJ, earned the right to run out there first and thought, especially in the first half, we were doing a good job. Obviously, there were a couple of situations where Florida State had a good call and we had to throw the ball away. And, second half, we were in a dog fight. And DJ's doing a good job of leading us, trying to manage the game, as best he can. Obviously, with some situations where just some fluke stuff, we get beat early on a quick, we're trying to run a little ISO route with the tight end at about 8 yards. And, we get beat really quick and, we have a strip sack. A strip fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, in the heat of the battle, DJ is the most battle tested, and that's who we decided to go
with. Hey, Coach, it's David Hood, and I apologize if this has already been asked. I had some bad connection issues, but do you feel like that as well as the offense played in the first half, maybe the best first half all year, this can be a turning point that you take those final few possessions in that first half and go, this is what we can be?
Correct. I think in the first half, all but maybe one or two, we had opportunity to score points, and unfortunately, BT's going to bounce back. We love BT and he's carried us, this season. He's made us right. And so we had a couple opportunities where we were in position. We didn't finish. So, biggest disappointment was that consistency in the second half. And I think that when, we had a little mix up in the shuffle up front, kind of threw off the timing and the rhythm just a little bit. We were able to settle back in, but definitely. And I think the combination of the first half, and then when our backs were against the wall, to go be able to score a touchdown to give ourselves an opportunity to win the game. Those are going to be the things that we're going to really harp. Man, guys are playing hard. Guys are playing banged up. Proud of Putnam. Putnam's one of the toughest young men that we have. He was playing on an ankle. He went out for a little while. He sucked it up. Shipley was battling. He's coming off of his injury. Continuing to work through that. And Obviously, 25 carries, you're going to have other bumps and bruises. So there's a lot of positives. There's still a lot of things that we can clean up. We got to get better on third down. We got to eliminate the TFLs. Can't give up sacks. We got to make sure, from a protection standpoint, we're giving our quarterback enough time. But there's definitely enough positives for us to say, man, this is what we're capable of. And I think the guys are continuing to believe, and they needed to have that success in the first half and that success there at the end of the game.
Coach Elliott, Rob Gilchrist, WCRS 1450 AM, 90.5 FM. What are your thoughts on just how everyone just came together there, made enough plays at the end? What play in the first half stood out to you, and what play in the second half stood out to you as far as kind of the difference makers for the offense?
I think obviously, some of the big runs, the yards after contact, are the plays that that show the heart of this team, the heart of this offense. All year long, we've been saying that they got the will to win. Now they just got to learn how to win. And so to be able to make those plays, I thought some of the back shoulder throws to Justyn Ross were what we needed to complete. Put the ball in the air. Guys drew pass interference calls. Those are some of the plays. And again, understand the play to Davis Allen. Took a shot, threw a fade there to Davis Allen. He went and made a big play. So those are some of the plays that stood out. Just guys finding a way to make a play. DJ putting the ball where it needs to be, and in the back shoulder, and Jay Ross making an adjustment to convert those plays.
Hey, Tony, it's Anna again. Just overall, how would you assess how DJ played tonight?
I think it was good at times. Obviously, a couple things we'd like to be able to clean up, ball placement a little bit, but he just continues to lead. What I did like is several times during TV timeouts, as the offense was getting ready, was in the huddle getting ready to go out, I could hear him through the headset, through one of the other mics of the coaches, that he was in there, challenging the guys from a leadership standpoint. And as long as we continue to have that from him, he's going to continue to critique himself and work on the fundamentals and get better. So, he gave us a chance to win the football game by managing and making enough plays. And that's what you ask your quarterback to do.
Hey, Coach, this is Todd in Greenville. What happened to Mason Trotter, and how worrisome was it to see two more guys leaving early like that?
I haven't gotten the overall prognosis on Mason. He was in the locker room, so that was encouraging. I know that they just told me he wasn't going to be able to return. Putnam did return, so I know Coach will have a full injury update probably by the time he does his press conference. But it's kind of how this season is going. We come in this week and Kobe's down. And then we lose a couple linemen throughout the course of the game. So you had Trotter and you had Putnam go out at the same time, and it's next man up. And we can't make any excuses. We got to adapt and overcome. So in the heat of the game, it's not so worrisome. Other than we got to figure out, okay, what can these guys do? What do we need to do to get these guys into the flow of the game so that we can get that cohesion and chemistry to be able to run the ball the way we needed to, and then efficiently pass the ball from a protection standpoint.
What's it like to be able to lean on two true freshman running backs and what they've been able to do?
Man, first and foremost, I don't think that those guys get enough praise for the type of young men that they are. Very, very mature about their business. You're talking about guys that are mature beyond their years, both mentally and physically. They came in great playing shape, great weight, great foundation. And so it's just awesome to see those guys. And we tell our team all the time, age is not a prerequisite for leadership. Leadership comes from within, and those guys have, that eye of the tiger, that heart of the champion that we talk about. You can see it. It resonates in everything that they do on and off the field. And so for Shipley to be able to make that play at the end is only fitting, considering how hard he's played, how much he's battled, how he's played through injury. And then Maffa as well, an opportunity to start of the year thinking about red shirt, and then in the last couple games here, he's really, really stepped up and made some big plays for us.
Speaking of Will, he came out this week. I really haven't heard a freshman say this, and said he wanted to be the alpha. He wanted to be the leader, and all eyes were going to be on him after that. He wouldn't be denied on that last touchdown. Is it okay for a freshman to be a leader? Do you see him starting to step into that role?
Oh, no doubt. I've heard him during conversations in the chow hall with the guys, challenging guys. As I said, age isn't a prerequisite for leadership. It's your character, it's your work ethic, and he's created credibility in the locker room by the way that he carries himself in the weight room, through all the training sessions, the way that he handles his business academically. the way that he interacts with everybody in the building. And that's one thing that we've needed on offense is leadership. You know, you lose Bockhorst last week. He was a big voice for us, and that void had to be filled. And at the end of the day, you know, as long as guys are leading the right way, it doesn't matter, you know, who that leadership is coming from. And you would like for everybody on your team to have that mindset. So I didn't hear that, so I appreciate you sharing. But it doesn't surprise me that he would say that because that's how he carried himself.
Tony, how difficult is it to teach a guy like DJ who's still very young, you know, on certain plays like on the fumble with EJ, maybe to eat that ball or throw it away? I mean, how difficult is that? Because probably his whole life he's just been a big playmaker, and sometimes you just have to.
That's right. Those. You know, and I think what you got to take into consideration from everybody is that a lot of things you got to learn in the heat of battle. You know, you would think that he would like to would know to throw that ball on the ground once EJ slipped on the screen there. Would have liked to have really wanted him to try and force that ball to Shipley over there, because once we get, you know, that back clear, we're trying to get that ball over there. But he saw something and he goes back to his second read and just throw the ball in the dirt right there. But he'll learn and he'll grow. Again, a lot of it is, you know, in-game experience. Again, you can teach him in the film room. But when live bullets are coming, you got to trust your fundamentals, and that'll be something that we can teach. There'll be a lot of teachable moments, not just for him, but for a lot of the younger guys once we get to the film session on Monday.
Tony, this is Matt again. Just how disappointing is it to have the other team score on an offensive turnover for the second straight week, and just what do you guys have to do to keep that from happening?
I know we need to get a rabbit's foot or something, because we got to turn those ties. We scored too many points this season for the other team, and obviously we don't want to, you know, give it a bigger life than what it is, but we just got to focus in on the fundamentals. You know, I think that obviously DJ is going to get, you know, the blame for it, but it looks like there was a breakdown in protection right there, which will ultimately probably point back to fundamentals, you know, under fire, under duress, just holding up. But yeah, definitely disappointing. We got to stop that trend. Trust me, we're not trying to, but hopefully, you know, we'll figure out a way to go through a game without scoring points for the other team. And then also too, make sure that when we get opportunities with turnovers, we got to make sure we go and score points as well.
Hey, Tony, this is Will. I was just curious, for you guys to get a score late like this with your own offense, what can that do for your confidence moving forward?
You know, I think it's huge because we always talk about finishing. I thought we got off to a good start in the first half. It took us a little while. It felt like early on run game, it kind of took us a little bit of time to fill it out. And then we found a way to be productive and had a good first half, had plenty of opportunities to score, but we didn't finish drives and we didn't make some kicks. And then we kind of, you know, farted around a little bit there in the third quarter. But for those guys, when their back's against the wall, to be able to go out and have some success, I think that's what this offense is needed. And hopefully these guys will show back up on Monday, you know, with a little bit more confidence in the fact that this is what they're capable of. You know, you can play, you know, as good as you want to. It's just all about us, you know, making sure that we're committed to what it takes, play in and play out, day in and day out, to be able to consistently play 4 quarters of good football.
Hey, it's David again. The Justyn Ross that we saw today, nice back shoulder throws from DJ. Justyn fighting for balls. It was, you know, Justyn vintage, you know, 2019. Was that good to see out of that kid?
Oh man, it was huge, because I think that we have seen that in practice, you know, and again, obviously you guys, you know, may not get to watch as much in practice, but man, he's made plays like that since he came back from once he was cleared to play in practice. He's been making those plays, and then just hadn't quite transitioned, you know, to the field. And to see him come out this week and be able to go out and make those plays, and then he got behind people. His releases were good. We missed him. You know, we had a sprint out where DJ threw it out of bounds. He was open there on a good double move. So it's really, really good to see. And that's what we're going to need, you know, down the stretch, because when he plays at his highest level, he's going to elevate the play of the other receivers in the room, because he's going to pull them along with him.
Take one more for Coach Elliott. Okay.
Tony, this is Matt again. Sorry, I was just going to ask about that sequence at the end of the first half. I know y'all had pretty good field position, just not getting some points there. Could you kind of take me through?
So we wanted to open up with a screen. Thought it was going to be a pretty safe play. Florida State had a good call. They brought corner Cat into it. and kind of just, got us behind the chains, threw us off a rhythm a little bit. And so then at that point, just was like, okay, let's see if we can get ourselves in position for a field goal, but let's not be too greedy and put ourselves at a disadvantage and put our defense in a bad spot or have a turnover there. So we wanted to run a screen. Florida State had a good call, got us behind the chains, and then we were just trying to get back ahead of the chains there to see if we could possibly get ourselves in position to get a first down and keep going. If not, then play it safe.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Elliott. Thank you guys very much. We'll have DJ and Will Shipley shortly.
I appreciate it.